Good morning, Will.
Good morning, my sister. How are you?
I am happy, whole, and healthy, my brother.
All right. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Well, y'all going to get to know Paula during this show. And just want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. Paula's got a storied and stellar career and quite a sister from her New York days, L.A., and otherwise. And we're going to be chatting about that across the show today, in between some other things. But let's go ahead and start with who your mama and them. Who your people, Paula? Where you from?
All right. Well, I hail from Harlem, New York, my brother.
Hey.
I'm a New York City girl. I was born and raised in Harlem many years ago, and my people hail from the island of Jamaica, the beautiful
Hey.
island of Jamaica in the West Indies, and by way of China. So, but I'm here to tell you that on this day, I am now a resident of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana, for just about a year.
Hey. Welcome.
Because the man I love and call my husband for the rest of forever, he is a native of New Orleans, uptown, and we are presently here having the best time ever of our lives.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I was so happy to hear that news that you would be coming and that y'all are here. So wonderful seeing you on a little bit more regular basis, although it's got to be a little bit more regular than it's
All right, well, yeah.
been.
we can work that out. Right?
Yep. Well, good morning, everyone. We've got a lot of stuff going on in this city, this state, and this world, and we're going to be exploring some of that today. There was quite the town hall meeting at Dillard University last night with Congressman Troy Carter, Mayor Helena Moreno, and bunches of other people. It was standing room only. There had to be easily 300 people in there, and probably pushing 350, maybe even 400 by the time you look at the people who were standing outside the doors. There were people inside George's auditorium, standing up against the wall, sitting on the floor. It was quite the thing. C-SPAN was there. So that was good. So the message is getting out that folks in New Orleans are pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Pissed off in more than a little bit of a way about what's happened with the Calais decision, what is happening with redistricting, and, of course, the clerk brouhaha. So we'll be looking at some of those things on today's show. And we think we're going to have some other things that would probably be of interest to you, including a look at early voting and what is that looking like. Because, of course, our governor decided that he wanted to cancel elections. But, of course, there is no canceling of the election, no postponing of the election. All he did was say the House of Representative elections are postponed, which means everything else that's on the ballot is yours to vote on. And as I do daily, I encourage you to get out and vote. And in fact, you know the line, the choices you have for U.S. House of Representatives to represent in Congress. If you live in those districts, and the governor said, "I'm not going to count those votes," go ahead and vote. Go ahead and vote because they can't take it off the ballot. They can't. It's too late. I don't know what he was thinking, but it is too late to take it off the ballot. So you will get a sheet if you're it used to be unaffiliated, no party voter, and you have the option of voting in the closed primary for the Democratic candidates or the closed primary for the Republican candidates. And they give you a choice. But they will say, they'll cross it out and show you that you can't vote for Congress. That's not true.
Wow.
It's crossed out. It says you can't vote for it. Yes, you can. Now, it the governor says it won't count,
Mm.
but you go in the booth, you're going to see those names there. So you can cast the ballot, just that the governor says, I'm not going to count.
Okay, so help me with that.
Yeah.
What I want to understand is when you say it's crossed out and the governor says you can't vote, physically, you actually can tick that box.
You can.
Okay.
When you go in that booth behind the curtain, you
Mm.
can. The sheet that they show you for the no party voters is like crossed out.
So
But that's not your ballot.
So I, who am a naturally suspicious person, were I to go in that booth
Mhm.
and I were to cast my ballot, I would probably take a screenshot with my phone
I hear you.
to make sure that I have a record in my own hands that I did cast my ballot and I did vote.
I hear you.
Is
Absolutely.
that is that something that can be done?
Absolutely, you can be
All
done.
right. Well,
You
talk
know.
to people through it, brother. Talk to people through it.
So you just grab your phone. I mean, how many people going to vote? You don't have a phone these days. Come on now.
Everybody got
Everybody
a phone.
got a phone.
You got a phone
You know,
going in the bathroom.
I mean, even if it is a flip phone, you got a phone.
You got a phone.
You got a phone.
Right.
You got a phone.
Right.
So you can pull that out. If you need a little help from your teen daughter or granddaughter or somebody to, how do I take a picture? Just practice that before you go in.
So I got a
So,
question.
yeah.
When I was a little girl in Harlem, my mother would vote. She could take me, a child, into the booth with her.
Yeah.
Can we do that here?
Absolutely.
All right, well
our little one is 31 now,
Okay.
and he knows that was something mommy and daddy did.
Okay.
So come on in
anybody,
here.
So anybody who's not comfortable with the screenshot, take a young person in with you, and they can do it for you.
They can do it.
All right.
Absolutely.
Because we need records. We need receipts.
Absolutely. Got to have the receipts.
All
Got to
right.
have the receipts. Absolutely, positively. So y'all make sure you're doing that. And, the early voting was not what it could be. It wasn't what it could be. And that happens in elections like this. People want to vote in the big one, the presidential election, maybe the governor, but they don't want to vote for whatever reason. Well, if you don't want to do politics is going to do you. Okay? So that's the truth. And I want to make sure you know that we've got in Orleans Parish 3 judicial races. And those are important jobs. These are some of the jobs that the state legislature are looking at taking away from us. And in fact, the people who are running for the criminal judgeship are now running for a job that they may serve in for 6 months.
Mm.
It's a special election. Their intention is to run for this job, special election, fill the unexpired term, and then run for a full term. But the way the governor and peeps have it lined up, it's like you can start working, but you're going to have to stop working on December 31st. That's
So-
moving to the legislature.
So one can assume that those chambers were packed the way they were packed yesterday because folks are recognizing that they're trying to limit our rights.
Absolutely.
So representation is what they're trying to take away.
They're absolutely trying to take away representation.
So I moved here from LA, where we got 6% black people. And now I'm in New Orleans, where we got how many?
More than 50%, somewhere around 54%.
Right. And in LA, I was living in a blue city. If you only go down the coast of California, it's blue. But you
Mhm.
hit anywhere but the coasts of California, it is red.
Yeah.
It ain't just red, it's
Right.
red.
Right.
And here we are. My people were like, "You moving to Louisiana?" I
Yeah.
said, to a blue city in a red state.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying that you got to know that the Reds are trying to take over. I mean, the Blues are trying, the Reds are trying to take over the Blues. And here is what we're facing right now. So all the folks who are not doing early voting,
Which ended on Saturday.
right? So all the
Mhm.
folks who didn't do early voting, you kind of almost are playing with fate. You kind of almost are playing with fate because now you got that one chance as opposed to an early chance. So if anything, please know that their goal is to turn New Orleans what color?
Oh, they would like to see it purple than blue.
That's right.
Then red, I'm sorry.
Right.
Yep, that's what they want to do. But that ain't going to happen.
And
I mean, based on the people who were in that room last night, they were fired up.
remember that song by Curtis Mayfield? We people who are blacker than blue.
Yeah.
That's what we need. T-shirts. We blacker than blue.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have more news and information, and you're going to learn more about my friend Paula on today's Good Morning Show. It is 7:11 a.m. Don't forget, it is a school day, so if you're driving around schools, that means the school zone speed limit is 20 miles per hour. Slow down. I know you might be driving 41, slowing down to 35, 29. Nope, 20. They will get you. Plus, there are cameras out there. So be sure you slow down. And shout out to the assistant principals on transportation duty and the bus drivers getting our kiddies where they need to go.
Protect the babies.
Thank you. 7:11 a.m. When we come back, we're going to have more news and information. And we've got more for you on today's Good Morning Show. The talk line is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. This is WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4
Good
p.m.
Tuesday morning, I'm Daryl Forges with WDSU News, and here's your headlines. Right now, New Orleans police are investigating a shooting that left a man injured in the 7th Ward. This happened near the intersection of North D'Aubigny and Columbus Street around 2:40 this morning. The victim was found at the scene suffering from a gunshot wound, and he was taken to the hospital. A heated debate expected again today at the state capitol in the battle to redraw Louisiana's congressional maps. It comes as voters and some Democratic leaders back at Town Hall in New Orleans to strategize and figure out the way forward. The Committee on Senate and Governmental Affairs will take up the new congressional map after the full Senate adjourns today. Beyond Louisiana, a battle over the balance of power is taking place from coast to coast. Yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled Alabama can use a map to put in place in 2023 with just one majority black district. In Virginia, Democratic lawmakers are now asking the Supreme Court to allow the state to use a voter-approved map that would favor Democrats in the midterm election. So far, 9 states have taken up redistricting, with Republicans picking up a possible 14 House seats and Democrats 6. A move by the New Orleans City Council may be adding more chaos to the already controversial clerk of court seat. At a special meeting on Monday, the council appointed retired Judge Calvin Johnson as interim clerk of court and called a special election for November to fill the position permanently, which Calvin Duncan and Chelsea Napoleon may run for. Attorney General Liz Murrow also opposed the council's move, saying this creates chaos in the clerk's office. I'm Daryl Forges, special headlines with WBOK.
Hey, this is D. Riley from the 90s Hits R&B Jams. Make sure you listen to WBOK 1230 AM every Saturday night from 7 until 9 p.m. I'll be giving you the best R&B jams from the 90s. That's right, all your favorites and more. With me, D. Riley, your host of the 90s Hits, right here on WBOK 1230 AM, or listen online at WBOK1230.com. WBOK, the station you listen to longer.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
And with me is Paula Williams-Madison, my good friend. Decades. So happy that y'all are here.
We
It's
are
so
hap-
different.
I
Just
know.
to, you know.
We're happy to be here because, listen, we live a couple blocks off the quarter, and it ain't like we frequent the quarter a whole lot. But,
No, well.
but
yeah.
it's the restaurants.
Yeah.
In L.A., I cooked regularly and often, and my husband is an amazing cook, and we haven't cooked in, I can't tell you how long, because it's just too easy to go. It's too easy to just go get amazing food, and then we drive across the river to my sister-in-law's house, and she burns. She burns. So, it's tough to, my cooking skills, I got seasonings, I got pots, pans, dishes, and we just open up the container and, dish it out. Because it's just too easy.
You're going to have to watch the dates on those things.
Well,
you might not be using them for a while.
No, there's that. But I go to other places and people look at me and say, "You didn't really move to New Orleans." I say, "Yeah, I did." Well, how come you ain't gained no weight?
Yeah.
I said, "Because I got to be careful."
Yeah, you do.
And I do a lot of walking.
Yeah, well, that helps.
Yeah.
That helps a great deal. Look, it's 7:17 a.m. You got somewhere to be at 7:20. You got 3 minutes. So I hope for some of you all, it's on the other side of your bed, that you're going to just slide on over, throw those covers back, grab those slippers and that rope if you do that kind of thing. Grab that laptop, fire it up, and say, "Boss, I'm online. I'm doing it. I'm working." All right? So make sure you're taking care of your things. If you, on the other hand, have to go somewhere, you have to be somewhere, please, I tell y'all this every day, please, take care of your personal stuff at home, all right? No need to trim the mustache while you're sitting in the car driving. No need to put on the makeup on the way between the red lights, all right? There's just no need for any of that kind of thing, all right? And you don't need to be looking in the mirror. Look at the mirror at home. And before you leave, make sure that you grab what you need. You got a knapsack? Grab it. You got an attaché? Grab it. You got a backpack? Grab it. You got a phone? Make sure you have it. You got a watch? Make sure you have it. What else you got? You got some coins? Do you? I got a few. Yes, grab your coins. All right? Grab your debit, your credit. All right. And for those of us who might need to look, I know those of us among the chronologically gifted, few of us have to look in the mirror and make sure everything's in place. All right. So just make sure that you got everything, then you are ready to go so that you can be safe. Don't be one of the crazy drivers. I know it's not you. And please, watch out for our babies and our kiddos, especially the ones who they got some hair on their face. They got some hair on their arms. They're looking at their phone. They don't know where they're going. So just make sure you watch out for them. Hey, look, one of the things we mentioned was that town hall at Dillard University last night. Man, it was something. Thing was scheduled to start at 7, and it started on time. Doors were supposed to open at 6:30. They couldn't open the doors at 6:30 because people were there at 5:45, 6 o'clock. 6:10. It's like, okay, I guess y'all might as well come on in. And it was tremendous. People just kept coming. So we're going to listen to a report from Fox 8 from my former student at Loyola, Andres, in just a minute, because I wanted you all to hear the news report about what went down last night. But it was packed, and Congressman Carter was on fire. And his delivery was wonderful, but he didn't just do a speech because he had all these people on stage, and we needed to hear from them as well. So, Jared, are we ready with that clip? All right.
University with more than 300 people packed to listen in to how the redistricting of congressional maps is going here in the state of Louisiana. Now, this meeting was all planned and hosted by Congressman Troy Carter, whose district is at risk as lawmakers consider new potential maps for Louisiana. Now, this is all after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down Louisiana's current congressional map, which created a second majority black district. Those justices said that lawmakers relied too much on race when they drew that map up. The ruling prompted Governor Jeff Landry to pause Louisiana's U.S. House primaries, which were on the ballot this weekend. Carter and local elected leaders took the podium to share how they think the election pause, as well as the redistricting efforts, could affect politics on a local city level.
Fair representation is not a favor. It's a constitutional principle. It's an American principle. And let me say tonight clearly and unapologetically, we will not be intimidated. We will not run.
We need to take a very close look at the state legislative seats, because if they flip one direction, they can flip another. And the resources to flip a state rep seat is a lot less than, let's say, flip a governor's seat. And we can do that one by one by one, but it takes strategy. And what I can tell you right now, what I promise, is to move forward with that kind of strategy, because we have to start gaining more seats and gaining more control. Look at what's happening to us because of who's controlling the legislature. It's not good for New Orleans, and so I'm going to be looking at all the legislators to see who's good for New Orleans and who's not, because if you're not, we need to come for you. Thank you all.
There are going to be more of these town halls. I expect Congressman Fields to have similar town halls. I know he's already had a couple in Baton Rouge. He's going to have more. I think there are going to be town halls like this all over the state of Louisiana.
All right. Well, it was quite the town hall, and there was a reference to Congressman Cleo Fields. Actually, Cleo Fields had town halls each night of last week, but because of the way his district runs, some of those town halls were in Baton Rouge, and they were in Shreveport, they were in Monroe, so they were in different cities. So brother was on the road, traveling from place to place, and those town halls had lots of folks coming out. I want to make sure that y'all know, because I was there last night, and I looked at some of the town halls that Cleo Fields held. It wasn't just black people. It wasn't just black people, Paula. There's some other folk who are not black, who want their black Democratic representative, who don't want their rights trampled on, who are pissed about what's happening in Washington with Calais and otherwise.
So we would probably have to go back to Reconstruction, to a time when it was decided that although we're supposed to have representation, they're going to try and take it away. And I want to tell a very tiny anecdote. So about 18 months ago, my grandson, who's now a college freshman, contacted me and said, "Grandma, when I get home from school, I want to call you. I need to interview you." And I was like, "Oh, hang on, what's up? I know that word from a time."
Yeah.
So I was excited, and then he got home. He called me. We did a video call. He said, "I got to write a paper on democracy." You see that? That's what I did. I was like, "Oh." He said, "Grandma, what's your definition of democracy?" And my reply was, "Well, baby, let me say it like this." I said, as you go around the world to other countries, and even in this country, United States is held up as the prime example of democracy. I said, and then I want to take you back to the time when a document was written by the people called the Founding Fathers. And when they wrote that all men are created equal, at the moment they wrote that, they were already lying. Because some of them, in order to maintain the power they wanted to maintain and hang on to, they looked at people in front of them who were men, and they said, no, because of their skin color, because they ain't us, they're actually not men. So they redefined what it meant to be human, and they redefined what it meant to be a man. So all men are created equal. We start from jump. We start from jump with a fallacy. I said to my grandson, what I want you to understand is it's a political position that they have taken. And right now we're living in an era where they want to take it back. When he was 8 years old, this is what that child said to me. Question: Grandma, can white people be president of the United States? I was like, what? He said, can white people be president of the United States? And I thought, oh, this child has only known Barack Obama to be the president of these United States. So for him, it was like, we now into the second term. And I said, how do I answer this without totally messing him up? I said, well, baby, you seen money. You seen money, right? So look at the dollar bill. Look at those people. Those are presidents. He said, oh, yeah, that's right. And he happily walked away. And I said, I had tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
I had tears in my eyes because I said, there are people walking the planet who only know a black man to be president of the United States. And you know what we're paying for right now? The retaliation is, how dare y'all have a black man as president of the United States? So they chipping away. Everybody listening, you got the right to vote. Vote. Absolutely. Okay, one time per person. One time per person.
No need to go to jail.
But do not squander that vote.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, let's check on early voting in the state of Louisiana. The Times-Picayune, NOLA.com advocate reporter Tyler Bridges is standing by. He's our state chief politics reporter at the Times-Picayune. And this is his work. This is his career. This is his life's work. So he digs into the data, talks to all kinds of people, and he's got some information for us that'll be right after the break. 7:27 a.m. You got 3 minutes. You need to be there at 7:30. But right now we're going to take a break. Paula, what's that number if somebody wants to call?
So listen carefully, y'all, because we want to hear from you. It's 504-582-9422. We want to hear you and hear your talk, too.
All right. You're listening to WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
After a very rainy day, we can now expect a little more sunshine in our forecast. Also, drier air is in place, so not as high humidity for your Tuesday. Today's highs 79 to 83 degrees. We could still see a spotty shower for this evening, but most of us will stay dry. Lows for tonight 62 to 69, and then for your Wednesday, highs 83 to 86. Sunshine for the rest of the week. For the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Hey everybody, it's Graylin Bryant Banks
and Kimber White Dupree
from the front porch.
Some combos are too good to miss. Now you can pull up a chair to the front porch anytime.
Just search WBOK Media and subscribe to the Front Porch Podcast.
Download, share, and hit us with a 5-star rating because New Orleans culture deserves to be heard loud and clear.
Life has a way of shifting priorities, changing needs, and pivoting plans. Home Bank is there for all of them. Their bankers partner with you for every step along the way, from understanding your needs to celebrating your success. Home Bank is invested in the vibrant spirit of our community and in you. So partner with them. Stop on by any banking center in the greater New Orleans area or visit home24bank.com to get started today. Good for business, good for life. Home Bank, a member of the FDIC.
Greetings and salutations. I am Edward B. Coulon Smith, chairman of the board of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. We'd like to invite you to tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon on WBOK to listen in on Black to Business and be a part of the movement that's going on. Thank you.
City Park is where to go when you don't know where to go. Turn towards the city center and start walking. Before long, you'll end up where you belong, at the heart of the city. New Orleans City Park. Stroll along the reeded marsh, wander through the sculpture garden, rest and recharge beneath ancient oak trees. This is where your spirit goes to grow. It's in our nature to yearn for nature. NewOrleansCityPark.org, heart of the city.
I'm Cynthia Willard Lewis, and I encourage you to vote Nick Alvarez. He will protect Louisiana families and fight for lower health care costs for everyone. Vote Nick for U.S. Senate.
I'm Nick Alvarez, and I approve this message.
Well, Saints of God, this is Pastor David Impartan Sr. coming to you over the airways of WBOK, your favorite host of Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. Want to invite you to our show every Saturday from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock p.m. That's Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. Want you to invite your family and friends to a broadcast that's designed to change your life, the way you think, the way you act, and what you eat. We want you to tune in every Saturday at 1 o'clock, WBOK, 12:30 a.m. See you on Saturday.
Our power bill's up again.
Oh, feels like everything costs more these days.
I saw Mark Wright and John Young are running for the Public Service Commission. Could they help?
The PSC controls our electric bills. Definitely not.
Why not?
Well, Mark Wright wrote the law raising Louisiana's sales tax to the highest in America. Then Wright took thousands from utility companies he'd regulate. Even tried letting politicians use campaign cash on fancy perks. And the other guy, John Young, backed a $22 million property tax plan.
So both have a record of making folks pay more, and now Wright and Young want to take control of our power bill.
Unfortunately.
Sounds like Mark Wright and John Young are wrong for the PSC.
Very wrong.
Paid for by Fair Rates First, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. FairRatesFirst.com.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton, and I'm here in conversation with Paula Madison, my good friend. Happy to have you come in here.
Happy to
sit with
be
me
here.
for a spell.
Absolutely.
And join our WBOK family of listeners this morning. It's 7:33 a.m. You got somewhere to be at 7:35. You got 2 minutes to get there. You're in much better shape. You've got to be there at 8, but please watch out for the kiddos. They got to get to school, got to get there on time so they can take care of their jobs and get some education. Look, I told you yesterday that what we were looking at with early voting, but, you know, I had limited time with these couple of jobs and everything, but Tyler dives into this stuff. So good morning, Tyler Bridges, my friend. How are you? You're on with Will Sutton and Paula Madison. How are you?
Good morning to you both.
Thank you for joining us. I know you got a lot going on covering the legislature and politics and all, but you took some time and dove into the May 2 through May 9 early voting results. What have you discovered?
Yeah, well, the first thing I'll say is that I was at the Capitol on Friday, and there was a Senate hearing on the redistricting map. Remember, the Supreme Court ruled that Louisiana's congressional map was an illegal racial gerrymander. Governor Jeff Landry then canceled the House elections while all the other elections are going forward. So this has created an opportunity for the Republican-controlled legislature to eliminate one or both of the congressional seats held by black Democrats, them being Cleo Fields and Troy Carter. Mm-hmm. So the legislature, and in this case, the state Senate, held its first hearing on Friday. And what struck me when I was there was that the Capitol was just filled with people who were there to express their outrage at the idea of eliminating one or both of those Democratic seats. And then I think what we saw is that translated into higher than expected, or certainly larger than in proportional terms, turnout during early voting of African American voters. The registered voters in Louisiana who are African American, they represent 31% of the electorate, yet 35% of the early voters were African American. And because we have a Senate election going on, that people will be able to vote on Saturday, for Democrats, it's a pretty low wattage affair. The three Democratic candidates, Nick Alvarez, Gary Crockett, and Jamie Davis, are not very well known to voters. So the best guess is that voters are, the voters who, especially the African American voters who have turned out in early voting, wanted to express their outrage, and probably the likeliest way they're going to do it is going to vote against the constitutional amendment that Governor Jeff Landry is supporting.
So I remember the date, March 29th, when there were 4 constitutional amendments on the ballot, and the governor was looking for a low turnout and success on 1, 2, 3, and 4. And all 4 went down. There were folks who were saying that it's going to be hard to defeat them, especially as the number of voters increased. Is that what you're seeing now, or what are you seeing?
Yeah, and as you noted, Will, on March 29th of 2025, a year ago, those 4 amendments supported by the governor went down 2-1. I mean, they were soundly defeated. So now voters, when they go to the polls, and I hope everybody goes to vote on Saturday, if you haven't already voted, they'll find 5 constitutional amendments. One would remove civil service protections. The second one would allow the city of St. George in East Baton Rouge to have its own school district. Another one would raise the retirement age for judges from 70 to 75. Another one would dissolve some education trust funds and use that money to give a pay raise to teachers. And a final one would remove an obscure tax, allow parishes to eliminate an obscure tax called the inventory tax. And so those 5 amendments will be on the ballot. The governor is supporting all but the judge's amendment. It's important for him. And we'll see if the same coalition that said vote no to all a year ago, whether they are potent enough to defeat those amendments fought by the governor this year. And again, the fact that we're seeing the signs are that African American voters are riled up by what the legislature are doing, and obviously the Calvin Duncan issue factored into that as well. We'll see if that's going to translate into another defeat for the governor on Saturday on the constitutional amendments.
Good morning, Tyler. This is Paula. Here's my question for you. So what I note is that right now there are many people who are circulating a recall attempt regarding Governor Landry. My question to you is, given what you are seeing right now in terms of what I will characterize as the outrage of African Americans, and not just African Americans, what do you think the chances are that the governor will be cognizant, aware of the amount of anger that he is stirring up, and that it might be jeopardizing his own position?
I think Governor Landry pays close attention to the population. Obviously, his voting base is white conservative voters. I would think that any recall effort chances are an extreme long shot. The governor is not unpopular enough. But I will say that the governor has a good working relationship with the African American members of both the Louisiana House and Senate. He tries to do things for them. I think a lot of people feel he's done good things in New Orleans, although of late, again, his supporting the removal of Calvin Duncan as the clerk just before he took office, and I know that's now been legal dispute, has caused things into question, and also the fact that he is supporting the elimination of one of the congressional districts held either by Cleo Fields or Troy Cargo obviously is going to anger people as well, whites and blacks.
Is this currying favor for him with Donald Trump?
Well, the Governor Landry has spent a lot of time currying favor with Donald Trump. He goes to Washington a lot. He trumpets his relationship with the president. He is supporting Julia Letlow. We haven't talked about the Senate race yet, but for Republicans or no party voters, they will be able to vote in the Republican primary on Saturday for Senate. Senator Bill Cassidy is fighting for his political life as he shoots for a third term. And Representative Julia Letlow, who holds one of the 6 congressional seats in Louisiana, she has been endorsed by Donald Trump and Jeff Landry.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Tyler. We really appreciate your making some time for our WBLK family of listeners. Good to know that though the early voter turnout is lower than we'd like to see, that there's some indications of high voter turnout among African-American voters. Of course, we need more folks to get out and vote, whatever your opinion is, but seems like some of our friends and neighbors care enough to get out there. You got one more day. You missed the early voting, but that is Saturday. Tyler Bridges, thank you. From the Times-Picayune, NOLA.com, The Advocate. Appreciate it. We'll be watching your work on NOLA.com.
Thank you.
Lord's blessings. Thank you. All right, folks, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about a housing summit. And don't forget, we're going to have Victor Sims coming up in a bit, and that's always delightful. Never a time that he visits that I don't learn something that I ought to think about with my mental health. So, brother, keep me on track. All right, I'm Will Sutton, and with me is Paula Madison. What is that talk line number if anybody wants to call?
So that talk line number, folks, is 504-582-9422. Please join us. We want to have a repartee with the people in the community.
All right. This is WBLK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Hoops, Heat, The Truth, On Demand. Ball Don't Lie is now live on all podcast platforms. Tap in, search WBOK Media, find Ball Don't Lie, and bring the fire with you wherever you go. Download, share, and leave that 5-star review, because the game doesn't stop when the show ends.
This is Andronica Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
This is The Law and Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton. Comparing the cost of will, successions, and trusts.
A will might only be a few $100s, but your family could end up paying more in legal fees.
Trust costs more upfront, but saves time, stress, and potentially thousands.
Think of it as paying a little now to avoid a big bill later. Smart planning means big savings for your family. This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
Transform your bathroom with the beautiful quality of Bath Planet. As a trusted leader in bathroom renovation, Bath Planet has earned the Good Housekeeping Seal, a symbol of quality and consumer confidence for over 100 years. Get half off installation or 18 months with no interest and no payments. Whether it's tub replacement, a shower replacement, or a tub-to-shower conversion, Bath Planet makes your custom bath fast, easy, and affordable. Here's how it works. 1. Call to schedule your free, no-obligation consultation. 2. Our design experts come to you with real samples to customize your dream bath. 3. Our certified installers complete the transformation in as little as 1 day. And right now, for a limited time, you can upgrade your bathroom for 50% off installation or choose 18 months with no interest and no payments. But you need to call now. This special offer is only available by calling 800-981-8177. That's 800-981-8177. Call 800-981-8177 right now before the offer ends.
Interest rates and inflation are out of control. Is your credit card debt also out of control? It's time to resolve your debt and take back control for a lot less than what you owe. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, then you need to call us right now. Debt Fix Pros can significantly reduce the amount you owe, and you could be debt-free faster than you think.
I knew we had to do something. Our debt was growing.
It was getting out of control, and we just didn't know what to do.
We saw an ad for Debt Fix Pros. We called, and they showed us how fast they could get us out of debt.
It really was amazing, and now we're back in control.
Call now, and we'll show you how easy it is to fix your debt. The call and consultation are free. Call Debt Fix Pros right now at 800-311-5977. That's 800-311-5977. 800-311-5977.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton. I'm here with Paula Madison.
Morning.
Good, interesting conversation with Tyler Bridges about the early voting.
Absolutely.
Good to hear that numbers are lower than we would like, but high with the black folks.
Folks are turning out.
Yeah, yep.
Don't
Got
tread
some
on my
emotions.
rights. Don't take away my rights.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, look, we're jumping into conversation with OG Alexander, and they've got an annual housing summit that's coming up on May 14th. And tell us about, first of all, you got to tell us who your mama and them, man. I mean, come on.
Well, my mama and them are actually, I'm a native New Yorker, but I've been here almost 20 years now. You know, came down to New Orleans to work on Hurricane Katrina recovery. Been doing housing here ever since.
Wonderful. So what is People's Housing?
So People's Housing Plus, we are an affordable housing developer that was created through the strategic merger of 3 affordable housing organizations back in 2022. The organization that I led that was called Home by Hand, primarily home ownership, single family for home ownership. The second was Tulane Canal Neighborhood Development Corporation, another place-based organization working in the Tulane Gravier neighborhood, also single family for home ownership. And the third was the Crescent City Community Land Trust. And what we did is we took these 3 organizations with similar missions, doing similar work, competing for the limited resources that are out there, combined them to create a larger scale Black-led organization that not only addresses the affordable housing supply issue, but also creates a number of different affordable housing options all under one roof.
Cool.
Well, I want to welcome you to and note that my family immigrated from Jamaica, and we were born and raised in Harlem. And the first path to, I guess, financial stability for us was we bought brownstones in Harlem, and I can say that the pathway for many families out of a regular and consistent either poverty or subsistence level living is home ownership.
Very true. My old boss and a woman who I like to call my mentor said something when I first started doing this work that always resounded with me. She said, all of my personal wealth is attributed to homes that I've owned. And that has stuck with me.
So this is the 3rd time you're doing the summit?
Yes.
How'd the first 2 go, and is this going to be the same? Is this going to be different? Tell us about it.
Well, the same, except for subject matter. We created the Housing Summit really as an opportunity to get our folks, the people that we serve, into a room with information where we can provide information and direct resources. There are many different housing summits and housing convenings. This one specifically, the goal was to make sure that everyday individuals can be connected to resources that they can go use the next day. So our last year's theme was heirs property. We'd had some funding to be able to provide wills, because we also know Black families have a much lower percentage of wills, so they're not protecting their assets. So we talked a lot about heirs property. We had attorneys on site drafting free wills for people. This year's theme is going to be community land trusts and shared equity. And it's timely because, as we know, we're in the midst of an insurance crisis. Interest rates are as high as they've been as I've seen them in my lifetime, and it's getting tougher and tougher for folks with stagnant wages to be able to afford homes. And shared equity models and community land trusts are an option for folks that lower the barrier, that create not only create affordable home ownership, but also maintain and create long-lasting affordability in neighborhoods, which we desperately need in this city.
What are the qualifications one needs?
So the qualifications for, generally a lot of our projects are federally funded. And the qualifications are we're serving people at 80% area median income or below. So that's basically 80% of the average income in the greater metro New Orleans area. That's for the large majority of our projects. Those are the qualifications. We actually do have some opportunities for folks who earn a little bit more. But for the most part, we're talking about, working class New Orleanians.
So if I showed up if I, as a citizen who was looking to own a home, and I showed up at this event, what steps would I take?
Oh, so this particular event, like I said, this is more informational. Right. So we're really excited about this year because we've got a legend. We've got a civil rights legend attending. Miss Shirley Sherrod will be our keynote speaker.
Hey.
Yes, sir. Nice. Yes, sir. She is the co-founder of New Communities Land Trust that was created in Georgia back in the 60s, the first community land trust in the country, and what really laid the foundation for the over 300 CLTs that are operating across the country. We've got Damon Burns from Finance New Orleans to talk about some of the products that Finance New Orleans have that can help people purchase homes, like their green mortgages. We've got Elizabeth Holman from the city of New Orleans to talk about city soft second mortgages, which is also assistance to buy a home in addition to the Housing Trust Fund. We've also got Marjoriana Willman from Hano talking about opportunities for Hano residents to move into home ownership. Then we have a lot of our partners there. We're going to have some of our insurance partners there, our lending partners there. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Kelvin Luster from Home Bank.
My friend.
Yes, who, they do, Home Bank does some of our CLT mortgages. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Home Bank sponsors this event. They sponsored it every year. So we're really, really excited about it. And like I said, so this is an informational, we'll have a couple of nice panels, cocktails where people can speak to the vendors, opportunities to connect people.
Cocktails?
Oh, yes. Oh, food, cocktails.
This is New Orleans.
This is New Orleans,
brother. Come on.
Hey,
come on.
Everything. Even I know that. You get food, and yeah, absolutely, food and cocktails. Okay. I mean, you can't have an event in New Orleans without food and cocktails.
Unless you want to go home with your head hanging.
Exactly.
And people talking about you.
But if I've never owned a home before, and I'm afraid, nobody in my family's ever done this before. And I mean, what's the first step that I would take if I wanted to participate?
Well, Paul, I'm glad you asked me that. And I think that's one of the things that distinguishes us and actually a few organizations in the city that are doing this work is we really shepherd people from start to finish. Okay. If you are thinking about owning a home, if you think you're paying too much in rent, if you're looking for more affordable rental options, first thing you do is you go to our website, phplusnola.org, and you fill out an application. That will trigger a call from one of our staff people. We've got 2 staff people that work specifically in the home buyer services arena, which we'll start with an intake call to see where you are, see where you currently stand. If you're in a situation where you need some time to save money or you need some credit repair, we have in-house financial literacy. If you've been thinking about owning a home and you're further along, you've got some savings, you start working with one of our home buyer specialists, and we connect you to a lender, get you pre-qualified, and we'll start to fit you with one of the projects that we've got working in neighborhoods across the city. And then once we get you in the home, we have our comprehensive stewardship program. And this housing summit was birthed out of our stewardship program. That is the resources for folks who are already in their homes. whether they be our homeowners, whether they be homeowners or folks renting in the neighborhoods where we work. These are the resources to help people stay in their homes. We've gone back and retrofitted over 80 homes with fortified roofs. Many of which we've built since Hurricane Katrina. We've also provided that for folks outside of our network. We've done over 150 wills, provided 150 free wills to folks. We've done 19 secessions. We do educational, educational trainings. We educate people around tax sales. We've even recently partnered with NAMI, Southeast Louisiana, and we've been able to give some of our elder population access to mental health services.
So this is Friday?
This is Thursday.
I'm sorry, Thursday.
Yep, Thursday.
At 5 p.m.
At 5 p.m.
At Ashe Cultural Center?
Yes, another great partner of ours. You go check out some artwork as well while you're there.
Okay, so 5 to 9 p.m. What does it cost?
So tickets are available. It's free. You just have to register so we know you're coming. We just want to make sure we have enough food.
How can people find out more since they heard you, OG, here, and they want to say, I want to go, but I need to look this up?
Sure. So phplus.org, phplus.org. All the information is there on our website. You can just you can register. We said it's free, free to the public. We just want to get an idea of how many people are coming. Tickets are still available. We're expecting close to 250 people.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. All right, great conversation with OG Alexander about the May 14th Housing Summit. That's going to be May 14th, Thursday, 5 p.m. to 9 at Ashe. I'm Will Sutton. This is my friend Paula Madison with me. We're going to close out this segment, and coming up next, we're going to hear from Victor Sims all about the power of purpose with Victor Sims. All right, this is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is urging the Trump administration to rehire CDC cruise ship inspectors after a deadly hantavirus outbreak.
HHS fired every full-time employee at CDC's vessel sanitation program, and that's the program they inspect ships on for exactly this kind of virus.
Schumer is demanding details on the federal response. Two black brothers from East Cleveland, Ohio, who posed as Middle Eastern royalty have been sentenced to decades in prison for a $21 million fraud scheme. Prosecutors say Zubair and Muzamil al-Zubair used fake identities and lavish displays of wealth to deceive investors. Each received more than 20 years behind bars. And Democratic Senate candidate James Tallarico has released a plan to address the maternal health crisis. It focuses on black mothers and includes paid maternity leave, expanded Medicaid, and more investment in maternal care. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK. Unless you got one of those little slider things. Or if you're using the little doodad to say, Siri, play this. Or we can be found on WBOK's YouTube channel or on Facebook Live. I know we can't see you, but hey, y'all, we know y'all out there. We appreciate you tuning in. We are going to jump into conversation with our friend Victor Sims, always here to help us with our mental health. And today's topic is the power of purpose.
Purpose. That's
power of purpose.
Yes.
Couple of P's.
Couple of P's.
What is the power? What is the purpose?
Purpose has been
shown that, and again, my issue is always the mental health issue, the emotional issue of things. And purpose, having a reason to do what you want to do, having a desire to do what you want to do, tends to give us a lot more energy, tends to give us a lot of more excitement about ourselves, about our world, about taking care of issues that are important to us. When we don't have a purpose, we tend to get a little lost, confused, and we're easily led to other directions by something that looks good. You know, and I call that the shiny things in life. Things that look good, but then you jump into them because other people are doing them, and you don't really have you're doing it because other people are doing it again. Because all of us need to feel that we've talked in the past, important, valuable, that we matter. Like we're not just taking up space. So having something that gives us a sense of purpose, a sense of being, tends to wake us up, tends to do a lot for us. And in some studies, matter of fact, one study in 2019, a study published by the Journal of American Medical Association showed that having a stronger sense of purpose is associated with decreased overall mortality and a lower risk of dying from heart, circulatory, or blood disorders. Who would have thought that would have been that connection? But when you think about it, when you have a purpose, when you have a desire, when you have a goal, you get up. You know, you got to take care of yourself. You do things. Individuals who are running in the park, who are at the gyms right now, they got a purpose. They have a reason. They have something to get up and go for. Similarly, a 2021 study using data from the U.S. Health and Retirement Study found that people with a strong sense of purpose had a 24% lower likelihood of becoming physically inactive and cut their likelihood of sleep difficulty by a full 1/3 relative to people who did not articulate a sense of purpose. So there are so many different benefits to having a rationale, a reason to get up in the morning and go do what you got to go do. And, you know, I've heard, and I've even experienced in my own self, if you enjoy what you're doing, you never work a day in your life. You enjoy going in. You enjoy doing. You can't wait to get there. When you have a job, it's like, I got to go there. You know, I don't. But if you have a sense of purpose, you have a career that you enjoy, you can't wait to get there. And you hate this one thing called retirement because now what I'm going to do? I got to do something, you know?
Well, maybe for some people.
For some people, you know? So sense of purpose gives us a great deal of benefit. Physical benefits, emotional benefits, mental benefits. So having a reason to get up and do your thing, having a goal, having an objective, and loving doing it has proven to be physically, emotionally, and mentally healthy for all of us.
So I would like to offer that my own child is a forensic psychiatrist.
Oh.
She's in Los Angeles, and she's the chief medical officer at a psychiatric hospital.
All right.
And many of the patients are people of color.
Yeah.
Greater representation of folks who require those services are from our community, particularly in an environment like LA where the cost of living is so high that it's a struggle. When you were talking about purpose, and it largely had to do with what you do, right, as opposed to who you are and where you're going to be. Talk a little bit about what we're doing right now and this power of purpose where we're seeing rallying around a perceived, and I say perceived, but I will say a real threat to our existence, livelihood, rights.
Yes.
Talk about what that's doing in terms of motivation and blood pressure and all the stress and all the above.
It is one of the things about this challenge that we've run into. And a lot of times I try to get what our topic to bend it to current situations. And when I was developing this one, it sort of fit right in.
Right.
You know, because we're now seeing attempts at denying the rights that we have fought for such a long period of time. And we're seeing people waking up.
That's right.
We're seeing people recognizing that there's something wrong here. There's something that's not correct here. And we got to get up and do something about it. And this is a personal for me, I would love to hear it. When I heard about the recall, where do I go? Point me where I need to go.
Even if it's a slight chance.
Even a slight chance.
Right.
That's my purpose.
Right.
Okay. It's like the only bad part about it, I can only sign one time. That's the only bad part.
I hear you.
See, earlier Will said vote, vote, vote. I was like, oh, brother, that's 3 times.
You're right. But what I'm liking, because we've had a lot of younger Americans who have benefited from the struggles of the 60s and the 50s and the 70s. And they don't know what it was. They're thinking that it's just, everything that they have, they're supposed to have it. They're supposed to get it. They can go to any school they want to. I remember when you couldn't do that. Mm-hmm. When I entered high school, there were only certain schools you could go to, But because of the school I went to had a purpose to end that, we were able to end it. Now students can go everywhere. And they don't realize what it used to be. So currently, what I'm glad to see, especially from a mental health standpoint, is individuals are waking up and realizing that they have a reason to get involved because your rights are slowly being sucked away from you right in front of your face. They're not hinting around it. One of the things that I notice, and I pay attention to what the individuals who are attempting to make a change are, they're using words and terminology that sound beautiful until you look underneath the covers and you realize this is an action attempt to suck away the rights that you have fought for, the rights that you have, to take this away. So the purpose is waking some people up to recognize what this is and hopefully get us fired up. I was glad to see this news report yesterday at Howling Wolf where the line was around the block to sign in. Beautiful. We need that type of civilian and input. We need that type of purpose and realization that you can make a change if you get involved. If you don't get involved, there's nothing to say about it. You're going to get what you're going to get. And if you can't recognize what is happening from the Supreme Court all the way down to the state legislatures, is an attempt to rewrite what is necessary for all of us to have a voice in this country that we live in. So having a purpose for this purpose is to make sure that us, your children, and your children's children have a world that you can live in that's free for you to participate in any activity that there is. So our purpose currently with this attack, I have to call it, is to make sure that the attack doesn't happen. So we have a reason, we have a purpose. Get up, get out, get involved.
How about the mental wellness that goes along with a sense of community?
It is, we as human beings, well, I'm gonna back up a little bit. Many years ago, when I was in college, we took a art course. And you know the building right next to the Exxon station at it used to be Lee Circle, but the Circle?
Tivoli.
Okay. Well, that building there used to be a K&B building.
That's right.
And on the outside of it was actually a museum that had art structures, statues that were constructed. So our art teachers brought us there to look at the structures, pick one, and then write what it makes you feel, it makes you think about. Well, I picked one that had 4 facial-wise Neanderthals individuals, but Homo sapien from the neck down. And there were 4 and they were in full stride walking. So I'm looking at that, and I'm thinking that Neanderthal is usually somewhat conservative from the history that I've read, and pretty much high. But these 4 were upright and walking boldly out into it. And I envisioned them walking out. And what I felt was that the comfort level in their camaraderie made them so comfortable that they could walk out into the world being who they are. So to your question, having that camaraderie with my fellow neighbors, with my fellow politicians, yes, it gives us a sense of purpose, a sense of value, a sense of strength. And when a human being feels that way, we really take on almost anything. So mental health wise, it gives us a great boost, a great surge when we are a member of a group that's struggling to maintain the rights and purpose of everyone else.
Okay, we're going to go to break now. Great conversation. I am Will Sutton here with Paula Madison, and we're talking to Victor Sims about the power of purpose. And talking about purpose right now, oh boy, do we need purpose. But here's the thing I say about that, and we talk more about this. You can have purpose, but if you don't have any power behind it, if you don't have any direction, you don't have any movement, then I don't know. Maybe that's not the right purpose for you. So I want to hear about that. Okay. All right. So we're going to take a break. And what's that phone number if anybody wants to call? Paul?
So we hear the phone number is 504-582-9422.
You're listening to WBOK 1230 a.m. what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Good Tuesday morning, I'm Daryl Forges with WDSU News, and here's your headlines. Right now, New Orleans police are investigating a shooting that left a man injured in the 7th Ward. This happened near the intersection of North D'Aubigny and Columbus Street around 2:40 this morning. The victim was found at the scene suffering from a gunshot wound, and he was taken to the hospital. A heated debate expected again today at the state capitol in the battle to redraw Louisiana's congressional maps. It comes as voters and some Democratic leaders back at Town Hall in New Orleans to strategize and figure out the way forward. The Committee on Senate and Governmental Affairs will take up the new congressional map after the full Senate adjourns today. Beyond Louisiana, a battle over the balance of power is taking place from coast to coast. Yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled Alabama can use a map to put in place in 2023 with just one majority black district. In Virginia, Democratic lawmakers are now asking the Supreme Court to allow the state to use a voter-approved map that would favor Democrats in the midterm election. So far, 9 states have taken up redistricting, with Republicans picking up a possible 14 House seats and Democrats 6. A move by the New Orleans City Council may be adding more chaos to the already controversial clerk of court seat. At a special meeting on Monday, the council appointed retired Judge Calvin Johnson as interim clerk of court and called a special election for November to fill the position permanently, which Calvin Duncan and Chelsea Napoleon may run for. Attorney General Liz Murrow also opposed the council's move, saying this creates chaos in the clerk's office. I'm
Hey everybody, it's Graylin Bryant Banks.
And Kimber White Dupree.
From the front porch, y'all. You know how we do. Every Monday is Moving Monday.
And Tuesday is Trivia Tuesday.
And y'all know we have nothing but bad cheering coming through here on Wednesday.
But stick with us. On Thursday, we travel.
That's right. And Friday's Free Your Mind Friday, so get your brass up.
Something on your mind? Want to get it off your chest?
Holla at your people. WBOK 1230 AM, the station you listen to.
All day long.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton here with Paula Madison, and we are in conversation with Victor Sims talking about the power of purpose. It is 8:14 a.m. If you got somewhere to be at 8:15, I hope it's on the other side of your bed. You can slide on over, fire up that laptop, and let the boss know that you're checking in, and or perhaps you've already been at it. Wink, wink, wink. So, just do what you got to do. If you got to get your stuff together and get on out of the house, please slow down. Make sure you got all your stuff together before you head out, so you're not one of the crazy drivers. We got kiddos and babies on their way to school. We need to make sure that they get where they're going in the school zone. Speed limit is 20 miles per hour. That's still on for another 45 minutes before we get out of here for the front porch. We're talking about the power of purpose with Victor Sims, and we got a caller. Reverend Calhoun, good morning. You're on Will Sutton, Paula Madison, and Victor Sims. Reverend Calhoun?
Reverend Calhoun, are you there? We are in conversation with Victor Sims on Power of Purpose, and hoping to get you back on, Reverend Calhoun. Perhaps you can call back.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Power of Purpose, and if you perhaps have the purpose, but do you have enough power?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that also if we look at it as a uncomfortable side of it, we also call purpose anxiety. You know, and purpose anxiety is some point. The term describes the anxiety, frustration, even depression that people feel when they can't figure out what their purpose is. You know, it begins to generate some discomfort. You find this a lot of times in high school graduates who don't quite know what to do next. Like the society has set it up where you go to high school, you finish high school, you go into college. But going to college to do what?
Get a good job.
Yeah, that's it, you know. But they don't know what to do. And because I know when I first went into college, about 8 of us went from the same high school. And I had decided I want to be a lawyer because I saw it on TV, you know. But actually experiencing a lawyer, what a lawyer was about, I had no idea what it was about. But I wanted to do that. All of my high school graduate friends, all of them said, we're going into law too. Because somebody came up with an idea and everybody said, oh yeah, we're going to do. Nobody knew what they were doing. But we decided that because we didn't know exactly what to do. So that anxiety can also generate some difficulty for an individual of not knowing what to do because they have the impression that they're supposed to. They're supposed to know what they're supposed to do, what they want, but they don't quite know. And I attribute that, and a lot of times the teenagers I work with, because the world has given us so many distractions that are not driven into a purposeful life. It's more of I got to go here. It's more of a game playing, you know? And they're so involved in social media and video games and things that really don't have a long-term longevity to them, that when it's time to make a decision about life, they don't quite know what to do. They don't quite know where to go because they have not been thinking about it. When I was in high school, and this was quite some time ago, and our culture was pushing us, get your education. We need educated black men. We need educated young people. Martin Luther King's issue in Birmingham was with teenagers. They were pushing the teenagers. So they had a purpose, they had a reason, they had a goal, and they didn't have the distractions that we have today to pull you away from the reality of your environment. Now, our teenagers ask them about the purpose of the Supreme Court. Ask them about the 3 levels of government and what each one mean. Very few, unfortunately, the ones I've dealt with anyway, can answer those questions. They're not involved in what the reality of life is. But you ask them about the latest video game, they can tell you that. The latest trend on social media, they can tell you that. Who is popular, who's not, they can tell you that. But as far as understanding the reality of your environment, what we're currently going through now, they're not there. They have been distracted away from it. And when it comes time to make a decision about what you're going to do with your life, what is your purpose, they're sort of confused. They don't quite know. They don't quite know what to do. So purpose anxiety also is the aspect of this situation that we as the adults, especially in the education community, that's my concept, really need to take on with a lot more vigor, a lot more emphasis into the education system. And we talked about what we feel as though is transpiring now in our community for our rights. The number one thing that I personally feel can wake things up is education. We have to educate the next group that's coming up to take over. I tell a lot of my teenage clients, are you ready to take over the world? And they look at me strange like, what? I say, yeah, are you ready to take over the world? And they say, well, what are you talking about? I said, you realize every person who is in charge of the planet today used to be your age? One day, you're going to be in that position. Where are you going to be? What are you going to be doing? What is going to be your role, your goal? Because what you're doing today is leading you to that. So you need to think about it. One day, your generation is going to run the planet. What is it going to look like?
So try to give them a sense of reality, of purpose, because you come to see me, number one, we already got a problem. Okay. So I take an opportunity to try to instill not only addressing the problems of the moment, but also what you're going to do once you finish with me. Because coming to see me is to stop coming to see me. That's the purpose. And once you did it, hopefully you've gained enough knowledge and education to understand what the reality of your purpose is on this planet. And it's not just to play video games or be the most popular person on social media.
So I want to tell you that that same grandson, when he was 5 years old, was a video game freak, right? And I knew he was completely seduced by playing video games.
Yeah.
So I went to him and said, I'm concerned about how much time you're spending on video games. But Grandma, it's so much fun. I love them. I said, well, do you know that people actually write and create those games? He looked at me and said, what? I said, it's called coding. People actually create those games. And I said, and UCLA has a summer camp for children to teach them coding. That little boy's eyes rolled back in his head. He's like, Grandma. I said, would you like to go to that summer camp? By the time he was 11 years old, he had exhausted all those classes.
Beautiful.
He is presently majoring in college in that new kind of discipline, which has to do with creating, writing, producing the scripts, for that world. And here's what I will tell you, having just come out of Hollywood. All those people who are being laid off, producers, writers, directors, executive producers, what they haven't figured out is how to speak to that generation of my grandson. All the people who are getting the new jobs are the ones who played and understand and create video games. So what I like to say to parents is, instead of saying to them, be a lawyer or think about being an educator, all of those are true.
Yeah.
But there's a whole new world happening that you can access the same way those billionaires who dropped out of college and sat in their rooms creating these new formats.
Yes.
We can do that. I met a sister a month ago who's 70 years old, who owns 200 patents. If not for what she created, we would not have video calls, right? How many of us know that came from a black woman? And what happened when she was a child, she did an experiment at the age of 11 and set her house on fire. And instead of her parents screaming at her, her father said, let's go over this again and figure out how to do the same experiment without creating a fire. I applauded this woman and I said, I would love to work with you to create a curriculum to teach children how to think the way you thought and to teach parents how to encourage our children to be that kind of creative. So the purpose, absolutely. What these children are coming out of college today, they're not getting jobs because the format that we have taught them, graduate from high school, get a college education, get a good job, it doesn't happen 1, 2, 3 like that anymore.
No.
And a lot of them are wandering around going, what's the point of going to college if I can't get a job? Well, it's about learning. And it's about being in the middle of other people who can help stimulate your creativity. So all I'm getting at here is the mental health aspect of it is one where if we don't focus on that enough, what we are going to see is more of this stuff happening with suicide, incels, right? The people who are involuntarily celibate, who are shooting up schools, etc. There's a whole thing going on here that's affecting us in many ways worse than it's affecting them. And it's about educating the parents and the grandparents, the elders. We got to know that we need to let these children express themselves to us and help them figure out how to find the right way.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are going to take a break. We're at a great point with moving in power of purpose of power with the young folks. So how do we help them develop that? And let's go ahead and put it out there. How about folks who are all grown up, they mature, they got 20 years in, but if you ask them what their purpose, they have no idea.
Yeah.
What about them? How can they develop purpose? Do they have purpose and not know it? Or do they need to develop purpose? I want to hear from you about that when we come back after the break. Paula Madison, what's that talk line number if Reverend Calhoun wants to call back and if anybody else wants to call?
It's 504-582-9422.
You're listening to WBOK 1230 a.m. what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
After a very rainy day, we can now expect a little more sunshine in our forecast. Also, drier air is in place, so not as high humidity for your Tuesday. Today's highs 79 to 83 degrees. We could still see a spotty shower for this evening, but most of us will stay dry. Lows for tonight 62 to 69, and then for your Wednesday, highs 83 to 86. Sunshine for the rest of the week. For the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
New Orleans never sleeps, and neither does WBOK. Now, every voice, every moment, and every show is in your pocket. Search WBOK Media wherever you get podcasts. Download, share, rate us 5 stars. Because when you support us, you amplify Black voices and the New Orleans culture.
Step back in time and experience the moments that shaped our world at the National World War II Museum, located in the heart of the Warehouse District in New Orleans. This world-renowned museum brings history to life, telling America's story in the war that changed everything, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. From immersive exhibits to powerful personal stories, this is more than a museum. It's an experience. Plan your visit today at nationalww2museum.org. World War II Museum, where history lives.
City Park is where to go when you don't know where to go. Turn towards the city center and start walking. Before long, you'll end up where you belong, at the heart of the city, New Orleans City Park. Stroll along the reeded marsh, wander through the sculpture garden, rest and recharge beneath ancient oak trees. This is where your spirit goes to grow. It's in our nature to yearn for nature. NewOrleansCityPark.org, heart of the city.
Looking for a great deal on your next phone? Come see us at your locally owned AT&T store for the latest Samsung and iPhones. Visit us at 3616 South Carrollton Avenue. We have great offers on watches, tablets, accessories, and internet service. Whatever your connectivity needs are, our team is here to help you keep connected. Visit us today at AT&T, 3616 South Carrollton Avenue. Locally owned and proudly giving back to the community.
Greetings and salutations. I am Edward B. Coulon Smith, chairman of the board of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. We'd like to invite you to tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon on WBOK to listen in on Black to Business and be a part of the movement that's going on. Thank you.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. It's 8:29 a.m. I'm Will Sutton here with Paula Madison. We're in conversation with Victor Sims, and we're talking about the power, the purpose of power. And we're talking about the young folks. What about the folks who, they're in their 20s, their 30s. How about the 40s, the 50s, the 60s? Is it too late for them to get some purpose?
No.
Do they know what purpose is? If you ask them, they don't know. Does that mean something's wrong?
It usually means that they may have just been going along with the program because that's what the masters were doing. And feeling as though, because we know we have the term we call groupthink. And from a negative term, we call it mob mentality. That people will go along with the group because the group is going along with it. Many studies have been done to identifying the fact that we as people don't really do a great deal of really contemplation about why we're doing what we're doing. Like I said, when I went to college the first year, I'm the only one out of 8 members of my fellows who came with me who had some idea about what I wanted to do. And the minute I said so, everybody said, yeah, we're going to do that. So, okay, well, why? And when I look at it from the perspective I am currently now, I'm looking at that was a group think situation. Somebody came up with an idea that sounded good, so everybody went for it. Now, the problem was after the first semester, there's only 2 of us left.
Right.
So, and I kept going on, but some of didn't quite make it. But having those type of realities, where are you currently? Can you alter and change yourself right now? My concept is, as long as you're not in the box, you can change. You have the opportunity to make an adjustment and a change. What opportunities you have, well, you got to look out for that. You got to get involved in our society, take a look and see what opportunity they have for you. Are there prejudicial thoughts that saying certain people at certain ages can't do certain things? Yes, they are. Is that a reality? They can't? No, it isn't. You have to, if you have your purpose to do something, you can push through it and become whatever you want if you're willing to pay the price to do it. And you can accomplish it. So if a person finds themselves in what they call a dead-end job, if you maintain that, I really emphasize, if you maintain that, you are maintaining that because you don't have to. Have to meaning that you have no choice. You always have a choice. Now, does it mean you have to go through change? Yes. Change generates stress and anxiety for most of us. So sometimes we're concerned about the anxiety that comes from changing as opposed to looking at the other side. So I promote to individuals who have this thought, where will you be if you made this change? At the end of this change, where will you be? Basically, I want to put the city on the shining hill and say, how can you get there? What steps you need to take to get there? And then we work out a plan for how you get there. So yeah, you can make the change. You've got to be willing to take on differences, which again is change, which generates some anxiety. You got to be willing to take on the extra work that you have to take on in order to make this adjustment, but it is very doable to do so. If you find yourself in a position where you're really not happy, you're really not content, then look around. There are different things out there. Did you pick this particular position that you're in based upon groupthink, based upon that's what somebody wanted you to do? Sometimes we follow the desires of our parents and grandparents, and that's something we don't want to do. And sometimes individuals who decide, well, you know something, I want to do this, and the parents freak out because they see it as a thing that you can't do. I remember I was about 10 years old, and this was quite some time ago, and I was talking to my grandfather. My grandfather said, boy, what you want to do? Well, I had just discovered science, and I was in love with science. I said, Grandpa, I want to be a scientist. My grandpa looked at me and said, boy, you better get a real job. And that always stuck with me. Why would he say that? Well, in his generation, such a aspiration was too lofty. Black people don't do that. Black people don't become scientists. Well, I'll look up every now and say, Grandpa, guess what? I'm a scientist. Okay? We can do what we want to do if we decide that's what we're going to do. Having that sense of purpose is the drive, is the energy behind accomplishing what you want. Because you can accomplish whatever you want if that's what you really want. Once you have that sense of purpose. And again, as we talked about earlier, it gives you a healthier body, a healthier person, healthier personality. You sleep better when you know you're going someplace where you really enjoy going there. You can't wait to get there. You hate to leave away from there. That is a sense of purpose. And yeah, for those individuals in their 20s, 40s, 60s, yeah, if you want to, it can be done.
So let's say somebody's 41.
Yeah.
46.
Yeah.
So it's too late. I tried all those things. I changed jobs. I've changed partners.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't feel like I have purpose. I don't know what that is. How can we help them identify purpose and pursue that?
I would want to know the choices that you made in the previous. What was your motivation? What was your rationale for wanting to do the thing that you now have accomplished, but you now feel less successful? I want to know what made you go in that direction, and along the way, what transpired along the way. Did you have a sense of accomplishment, or were you just doing it because, well, like you mentioned just now, wow, I put so much effort into this, I might as well stay here? No, don't do that to yourself. If you feel that this is not satisfactory to you, you do not have to remain in that state. You can adjust and change. Again, it is the idea of change and the energy that it may take to do so and the emotional difficulty that people go through that they back them away from it. Difficulty is not a reason to not move forward. It is a reason to challenge yourself. And if you alter that mental thought from a problem to a challenge, you get a whole different set of energy. You can be talking about the exact same thing. Can I get this done? As opposed to, oh man, look what I got to get done. If I look at it from that negative standpoint, I'm going to suck all the energy out of myself. But if I look at it as, can I overcome this? Can I get this done? And I'm going to tell everybody, yes, you can if you put the effort and energy into it. If you check with the right resources, if you have the right support group, there's not very, very few things you cannot accomplish. And people look at that, well, I'm 40-something years old and I haven't gone to college. If I go to college, I'm going to be X amount. Well, I tell them this. If God spare life, you're going to be that age anyway. At least now you're going to have a degree. You know, and that degree will open up doors for you that if you didn't go to college, you would not have them doors opened up. So having that sense of purpose for yourself, what is satisfactory to you? What do you feel as though is important and on this planet while you're here? Because if you feel it's important, it is worth you putting the effort and energy into it and overcome it. That gives you a sense of purpose.
So, Paula, I'm going to flip this to you so we can get some feedback from Victor Sims. I know you all just met, but you've had a long, illustrious career. You've seen people with purpose.
Right.
You've seen people with vision.
Yep.
You've seen people set a goal and other people said, that's impossible. You've done that. People said, nope, not going to happen.
Sure.
What's the difference between people like you and others who have a vision, have a goal, have that purpose, and the people that you have met along the way in your career that they can't even speak to what purpose is?
Absolutely.
They come in, they work for you.
Right.
They go home, but you know they're not happy. They're just collecting a paycheck. Yeah. And I'd like to get your response to.
Sure. So I'm going to take it back a step to where when I was a newspaper reporter in upstate New York, I think I was maybe 27, 28 years old when my father immigrated from Jamaica. My father was a union shop steward for United Auto Workers at an airplane parts manufacturing company on Long Island. My father said to me, if you work for 25, 40 years to the point where upon retirement they give you a gold watch, I said, yeah. He said, I will be ashamed of you. Now, that made me sit up. And I was like, but everybody, I mean, that's what, like, they show you on television, a gold watch engraved. My father said, why you want to work to make somebody else rich? So there is actually a stereotype about Jamaicans, and it is that we got 50 jobs, right? Yeah, right? But here's what that means. My father said, I'm going to buy a house. He did. Had 4 bedrooms. He lived in 2, occupied 2 of the bedrooms, and rented out the other 2. Why? He said, my mortgage is going to be paid for.
Old school Airbnb.
My father said, right, exactly. My father said to me, what I want you to understand is that this is really not yours. Where you're going to work every day, you need to save as much of that money as you can, live below your means, acquire the capital, and buy real estate. That's how that started. As I said, my parents immigrated here. They broke up. My brothers and I grew up on welfare in Harlem. But we had a message from my father and from my mother, which is that I didn't come here for you to just subsist. Now, those kinds of goals come from other people. Those were instilled in us. And we didn't know not to go along with that. So it was, we got to get a good education. And when my brother graduated from Williams College and Harvard Business School, and he became the overseas controller for the now no longer airline TWA living in Paris, he came to me one day and said, I can't work in corporate America. I said, why? He said, corporate America's not for me. He said, because these white men trying to tell me. And I was like, okay. He said, I'm going to start my own stuff. And I said, me too? He said, no, not you. He said, because they accept black women better than they accept black men. And somebody got to have a job with insurance and benefits. And I was like, well, I'm the youngest child.
Yeah,
Why
right.
they got to be me? Because it's got to be you. 10, 12 years later, that oldest brother started an algorithmic trading company, meaning that he worked as a trader on Wall Street. He decided that computers could trade faster than humans could. So my brother wrote the programs and constructed the computers and started a company back when the markets were not allowing algorithmic computerized trading. So he got in on the ground floor. My husband and I pulled out what we could out of our retirement benefits, gave here, because I'm going to support what my brother wants to do. 2 years later, the company was capitalized at $500 million. This is why I'm saying, why I said earlier about, and I hear you, Victor, the perspective that your grandfather had was absolutely, given the times that he knew, but we have to keep evolving. So all these people right now who I know who are COOs and CMOs of corporations, Paula, so how did you know when to retire from NBC? I always early retire. I said I always plan to early retire. My father said, no, don't retire and get a gold watch. Pool your resources. Get out of there, and in the meantime, have your own. So the segment we had earlier about people buying the first house, here's what I will say. If you yourself cannot do it on your own, turn inside your family, your biological family or your maid family, and chip in and buy that house, and then buy the next house, and then do the next thing, and then pay for the college educations. But it's a collective. We are not going to survive in this country as individuals. We don't come from societies where we operate as individuals. We don't come from societies where we send grandma out to somewhere else. Grandma's usually, my mother moved in with me to help raise my daughter so I could work. So what I'm getting at here is what we need to do is, even those of us who are 40 and 50 and 60 years old, pause for a minute, take a look. Are you 60 years old and worried about retirement? You know what? Think about buying a condo, a house, living with a friend. You will cut your bills in half. Your money will go farther. It doesn't have to be that I got to sit here by myself every day watching The Price is Right. And I ain't got nothing else to do. We got volunteer programs. We got homeless out there. We got people, veterans. We have mothers. We have people who suffered domestic abuse. They need help. They could use the embrace of a grandma. They could use the hug around the shoulder of a grandpa, even if it's not your own grandma and grandpa, right? So somewhere in here, this is about being a society. So for those folks who you just asked me about, I would say, lift your head up. Stop thinking of yourself as a singular. You got to do we. You got to do us. We are a community. We are an African people. We are a community. And us going against that nature is what's destroying us every day.
So how we develop more of that?
Well, I mean, everything she's talking about was a sense of purpose. Her father had a sense of purpose. His purpose was not to be a skeleton for someone else, to have his own life, to develop his own ability to do what he wanted to do. And he passed it on to his children. This is what you don't do. This is what you do. And that purpose gives you a drive. Your brother, he had a purpose. He realized that somewhere within his own soul, this wasn't working. Even though for a lot of individuals, that level of his profession would have been sufficient to be there until he got the gold watch. But something inside of him said, this isn't working for me. There's something about this that I have a purpose to do something more than this. So he took the shot and he went to his family in order to do it. The family already been preset by dad to participate in that, was now geared and ready to go. They had a purpose. The number one thing all human beings do, the number one thing is survive.
Right.
That is our number one goal. How do we survive is the method that we use to decide what direction we're going to go in order to survive. And I love your family to decide, your mom, we're going to survive.
Right.
And we're going to survive, and we even got a plan.
Right.
We have a purpose to survive in a land where we're going to take advantage of the opportunities that was there. That purpose was a driven thing, and she was into you. That's why deciding what groups you should hang with, because she saw something about them was not moving. They might have been just been the sheep going along with whatever taking place, while the group over here would look like they were striving for something. Okay, this is the group that's going to give you an idea. We're into the group think.
Right.
But the group think had a purpose to survive, to accomplish, to overcome. Jump on them.
Right.
That's the group that you're going to bring you where you want to go, as you also develop your own sense. So what I'm hearing is that your whole family is a model of what a lot of us need to do. We've heard often and saw often immigrants have come to this country in the last 50 years. And what do you see them do? They live together.
Yes.
They pool all the resources. You might have 10, 12 people living there. All of them got a job.
That's right.
But they pool their money, and pretty soon you got brothers fried chicken on the corner.
Right.
You know?
Right.
You because that same sense of purpose of survival and
rise.
utilizing a plan will be able to get you somewhere. But if you satisfied with the status quo, if you're looking for that gold watch, okay.
It is, Victor. There is survive, there's strive, and thrive.
Yes.
Right? And when I became the vice president and news director of NBC4 in New York, and I went home to our brownstone in Harlem, my mother was living with her. Ma, I got the promotion. My mother congratulated me. She smiled. She said, my mother had 6th grade education. My mother said, you know that's not really your job though, right? And I was like, what? She cracked my face. I was like, what? She said, that's not really your job. Okay. Now, understand, I was the first, all right?
Gotcha.
The whole lot of firsts. I was the first. My mother said, your daddy's name is not on that building.
That's right.
They only gave you
Somebody
that job
gave it to
until the grandson, granddaughter, niece, nephew. That's not your job. You don't own that. And I said, thank God for my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Because the same day I got the job, she slapped me across the face. Not really, but here's your reality, girl.
Yeah.
Here's your understand. Don't fall for that. Do what you can do. And I'm telling you, that was the driving message. My parents did not come to this country with banks of money. They did not, right? But what I'm telling you is that exactly what you said. They had a purpose. My mother said, I didn't come to this country when I was in the 2nd grade. I brought home my 3rd grade. I brought home my report card. She looked at it. She said, I did not come to this country for you to get a B.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. She said, a B? If I thought the B was the best that you could do, I would be all right with it.
Yeah.
But you know and I know, and that was it. That was it. So level of expectations. Set the expectations level for yourself, for your children, for your grandchildren, and help them achieve those. Help them get to that point. Because what we know is there's a whole lot of folks out there who do not want us to achieve.
Yeah.
When you talk about immigrants coming here and getting it, remember that a lot of immigrants did not come up under a system being told, you're not human.
Yeah.
You're not a man.
Yeah.
Right. You're not a woman.
That's right.
They didn't grow up like that.
No.
So I say, as the children of immigrants, I can't think of a people who have accomplished more than African Americans right here in these United States, because the system has been set up to dehumanize us and hold us back. And when my father said to me, so who are you marrying? I said, well, his family is they're originally from St. Louis. He said, St. Louis. I heard of St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. Kitts. He said, serious. My father said, what is St. Louis? I said, well, Daddy, it's like kind of near Chicago. A Negro? You, my daughter, are marrying a Negro? I said, Daddy, what's a Negro? He said, you know what a Negro is. Born in this country, don't have a language, don't have land, don't take care of their children. I smiled at him and I said, Daddy, then it makes perfect sense that I would marry a Negro. He looked at me, he said, what? I said, because I was born in this country, so I too am a Negro. For the first time in my life, I thought my father was going to hit me. My older brother stepped into the conversation. He said, my whole life, all I've ever heard you all say is how smart she is, how brilliant she is, how strategic she is. He said, and now because she wants to marry an African American, she suddenly has lost her mind. I was in the Nation of Islam. I was in the Nation of Islam. And what I learned from there is rise up, black man. Marcus Garvey, Elijah Muhammad. I was, back then I was in the Nation, but I'm telling you, this comes from an Africanness, understanding who we are as a people, as a culture, and what our nature is. The moment we try to become European, more of the way that they do it is when we start getting lost.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk some more about power and purpose.
All right.
I'm Will Sutton with Paula Madison, and we're in conversation with Victor Sims. This is WBOK. What's that talk line number if anybody wants to jump in?
So it is 504-582-9422.
This is WBOK, 12:30 a.m. with New Orleans. It's talking about all day long.
Hello, friend. Tavis Smiley here with a special announcement. You can catch my show at a new time. Weekdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Same great topics, same great guests, same great conversations, just a little earlier in the day. It's Tavis Smiley, weekdays 1 to 4 p.m. only on WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about.
The Ron Kelly Show. Real talk, bold truth. Tune in for your weekly dose of unapologetic conversations that don't dodge the truth or dilute the message. Stay informed on the issues that matter most on The Ron Kelly Show, every Monday at 7 p.m. on WBOK 1230 a.m.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and do not have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you do not pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call. If you've been injured in an auto accident, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
Good morning. Wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Show. I'm Will Sutton. I'm here with Paula Madison. We're in conversation with Victor Sims, talking about the power of purpose. It is 8:54 a.m. You got 6 minutes to get somewhere if you need to be there at 9 a.m. We're going to be rolling out of here and making room for the front porch. But it's still school zone speed limit time. 20 miles per hour for, yes, another few minutes. So if you're already there, you're going to be near there. Slow down, please. Watch out for the babies. Watch out for the kiddos. We want you to get to where you're going, and we want them to get to where they need to be. Shout out to the assistant principals on that transportation duty. I know it might be something else that you might want to do, but this is important. Get our kiddos into those schools and into those seats so they can get that education today. All right, it's 8:55 a.m. We're in conversation with Victor Sims at Power of Purpose. What are some of the thoughts you can leave us with? We got a couple of few minutes about purpose. Again, let's kind of circle back to these times that we're living in.
Yeah. So there's, I mean, just in the last few days, there's just been so much stuff.
Yeah.
And a good part of this conversation has been kind of our centering of our individual purpose, which I believe is important for the more powerful group community purpose. But if we don't recognize what's going on, if we're not energized by this, we're just going to allow them to take so much more away from us. And I think that is about purpose.
Yeah. Understanding what our society is, how it's developed, how it is run, how it is maintained is extremely important. That's why I mentioned earlier about the educational community's job it is to provide that information. So once individuals, I think, have an understanding of what it is, how it is run, they can see where they fit in, where they can have a job. I'm with a group at our church called Boys to Men, and we took a group of young men to the state legislature just for them to see the legislature in action. And a couple of them, after we finished, we said, well, what y'all think about it? One of them said, I could do this. I said, yes, you can. That's why we bring you here. Because a lot of people think that the political structure and individuals in those positions are somehow superior, you know, based upon the fact that they're always seen, they're on TV, they're talking. The more you're seeing, somehow they give you more of a person than just the average person. But once you actually experience, you realize that person's just like me. I can do this. I can do what they're doing. Now you have a purpose. Now you have a goal. Historically, Bill Clinton, I'm going to mention him, made a decision at 15 years old. He wanted to be president of the United States after going to D.C. and shaking the hand of John F. Kennedy. He had a purpose, and he achieved it. Now, some of us may have them lofty goals. We have to be very cautious. Do we have the necessary resources in order to get to those goals? Because if you have this lofty, world-setting objective and goal, and you run up on the difficulty it takes to get there, you may get very discouraged and feel as though you can't really accomplish anything. So that's one of the things. We have to make sure that the goal that I have, my purpose, is something I can actually achieve. And as I mentioned earlier, you can achieve it as long as you're willing to do what it takes to get there, to go through the difficulty. Because nothing in this planet that's worth the crap you can get without going through difficulty. As a matter of fact, Mama told me something years ago. Things that are worthwhile don't come easy. Things that come easy are usually not worthwhile.
All right. I love it. I love it. All right, from the mom. All right. Thank you, Victor Films, for coming back. I always enjoy the conversation. I always take something away that I can live with. I usually bring something home to my wife and say, think about this, or I can do better. So I got some I can do better out of this. All right. So it is 8:58 a.m. I'm Will Sutton with Paula Madison. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me, my brother.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been all mine.
All right. So, Lord willing, I'll be back tomorrow.
Oh.
You going to come?
Well, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. One more.
Okay. All right now. All right. Very good. It's 8:58 a.m. In 2 minutes. We're going to be transitioning to the front porch. And don't forget, we've got so much going on, not the least of which is voting on Saturday. You need more information, then look it up at Power Coalition. Look it up at sos.la.gov. You can look at the little video I did on NOLA.com. I'm trying a little video, Paula, to urge people to get out and vote. We need more people to vote, folks. You want to show our power. You want to show our purpose. Get out and vote on Saturday, May 16th. All right, we're going to wrap it up with the Good Morning Show. This is WBOK, 12:30 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.